Hi, I'm Mac Morris. I'm the pastor at Woodridge Baptist Church. Thank you for taking just a little bit of time to take a look at this video. In this video, you're going to find some words of testimonies from various people in our church that have made the great discovery that Jesus Christ indeed does make a difference in their life. We're excited about what God is doing at what is known as the Church on the Hill. We'd love for you to come and see what's happening. Maybe you'll see some of your friends. Come and see why so many of your friends are discovering there is a difference at the Church on the Hill. Hope you'll enjoy looking at the videos.
Your life before Christ. How did you accept Him, and a little bit about your life before Christ?
Okay. As I grew up, my parents kept me was very faithful to church. We went to church as much as we could. My father was a Sunday school teacher, so that really gave me a good foundation. As I got older and started my professional career, and even in high school, I started getting away from him as far as partying, having fun. I started drinking, those type of things. He was always back there. I always thought of him and always thought, well, this probably isn't the best way I should be doing it. But it was a lot of fun, and I kept running from him, trying to find something a little bit different. But I always came back, and I really thought about it and said, oh, I really need to ask for forgiveness and do that. It just started getting carried away. He was always there, and I always thought about him and knew the things that I were doing as drinking and having a good time, and we're not being Christ-like, and we're not living my life to the glory of God. So as me and Sandy got married, she started telling me that we really needed to get into church and really make things right. So at that point, I went to God, just got down on my knees, and I said, Lord God, please come into my heart. I'm going to make it 100%. We're going to make this work, and we're going to make it what it needs to be. At that point, and she had already really wanted me to quit drinking, but I still thought that, well, 1 beer a day, 2 beers a week, that's, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not going to keep me from going to heaven. But as I got more involved with living to the glory of God and making it a very serious thing in my life, I found out that drinking a beer is not important and wasn't something that I needed. So giving that up and giving up anything that was taking the place of glorifying Him was what needed to happen. So I got rid of that, and so just asked Him to come back into my heart, which I think He's always there. It was just me running away from Him. He was always in the back of my mind, whether I was in another place while I was doing my work, and so praying to Him and saying, Lord God, please just protect me and be there for me, and He always was. And so now it's just living 100% to the glory of Him, and just letting Him bless us in our relationship, letting Him bless us in our financial and everything that we do. We're being blessed, but we're glorifying Him and just thanking Him so much for being there for us.
Well, my testimony started when I was 8 years old. I grew up in church. My family was all involved in church. My mother was a Sunday school teacher. My grandmother, played the organ for 80-something years. My great-grandfather was the pastor, so I was real involved in church and grew up that way. And I accepted Christ in my life at a young age of 8 years old, and followed that with believer's baptism. And I lived a Christian way up until my teenage years. And Marshall and I are a young love. We started dating in high school, and with that started getting carried away and not doing things that were Christ-like with the going to parties and just looking for the fun in it all, and got caught up in that. And so later on, after college, we got married, and Marshall was already in the service, and we moved off away from family, away from friends, and went through some very trying times our first year together. And I just knew in the back of my mind, Christ was always in my life. I wasn't glorifying Him, and I was doing things that He wouldn't be proud of, and I knew were wrong. I was just choosing, I guess, the easy way out almost to, do what's fun. And our relationship was suffering from that, and I knew the only way that our relationship was going to work was to come back to Christ all the way. And I needed Him first in my life before it was going to work for both of us. I needed Him back in my life, so I asked God to come back. I got down on my knees and asked God to come back in my life and be that forefront that I look to every day, and just be that strong will in my life, and take the place of all the aches in my heart, and help me turn to Him for anything, any kind of sadness, any kind of insecurities, and He did. And all you have to do is ask. And anyway, so that's what I did, and so now we're a couple.